Hey, what's good everybody? Welcome to the video. Today we're going to talk about the Revoltech cable. Now, Revoltech amazing Yamaguchi cable. And yeah, I've been having some fun with it. I got a chance to sit down and play with it all day. And there are some gripes, minor ones, but they may make or break it for the figure for you. For me personally, it doesn't really matter. I like to play and pose. So this is perfectly made for someone like me. Without further ado, let's get started. If you're looking for a comic looking cable, this is it. This will give you your really good 90s vibe or your Cable and Deadpool vibes, depending on how you want to go about it. But this rendition of this cable can fit either your late 90s stuff or your early 2000s stuff. It's definitely a nice blend of both modernism and some sort of nostalgia for some of you. Because I know some of you love your Jim Lee 90s costumes or your 90s era costumes, or even better, a lot of us really like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So without further, let's get all the, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Easily one of those things where you can reference cable from him and his Viper Beam. So yeah, it's one of those things where you're really going to like what you're getting with this in terms of look with this guy. Again, perfect blend of both nostalgia and modernism. Now, as far as this metallic arm, the techno-organic virus is taking over. We already know how that goes. I really like the sleek modernism look. It's not any sort of 90s retro look. It's very nice. It's very shiny and brand new. It's almost like Cable is constantly cleaning and updating his arm. For those of you who don't like that really cleanliness and you want the grit of the arm or a particular style of it, you can always give it a black wash. You can always panel line it. You can choose to do these options with your toys, because once you've paid for it, it's yours. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you don't like the clean part, dirty it up. But Kyoto definitely went out of their way to give it the sleek, modernistic look. You have your left 90s shoulder pad. You have your 90s pouches, which Cable clearly never left the 90s, because even in his modern costume, he was chock full of pouches. We have our 3 ports in the back. We'll get to that later. But yeah, in terms of articulation, we have a lot here. Like for a big guy, just like All Might, he can actually move really nicely. You get your one hindrances here with the shoulder pad, but that clearly moves itself out of the way depending on how you want to go about it. As you can see here, you can tuck this in and out and up and down. So the head can look up, has plenty of articulation. We can look down, chin touching the chest area. We can tilt side to side, and we can rotate as well. So we have a lot of movement in our head to give you a natural look and frequency. If you take the head off, there will be a piece here that allows you to adjust one of his eyeballs. That's because the other one constantly is glowing from him keeping the techno-organic virus intact. So when this flares up, kind of like one of those action sequences, it's to keep his arm in check. As far as our arm articulation, you will have a rotating joint for Revo, as you always do. As you can see, as I pull this out, this can easily come out. I like that my Revo can come apart. I would rather it come apart over breaking any day, for real. But some of you don't like that. You don't like that your figure can come apart very easily. Me personally, it allows me to pose better by taking it apart and having some fun. As you can see here, rotating it all the way around and through, Cable can reach all the way up and around. Same will be for this side. There is no problem here. As you can see here, he can reach up. As far as our upper torso goes, you saw that part here that allows us to wiggle up and down for that pectoral bicep swivel. We can shift to the sides, as you can see here. We can shift actually all the way around, and our front ab crunch actually gets really deeply far forward. Even with our arms up, we can still reach forward. Then we have the bend that allows us to curve and twist side to side, as you can see here. Let's rotate these arms back down. And with the arms, you'll actually have a single joint that allows you to rotate all the way in. You'll get an acute angle as well as forearm movement to mimic that of a double joint and rotate back down. And we have your standard rotate aroundable joint that rotates around. Let's pop this hand back on. On the techno-organic side, it's the same thing, but the joint is going to be metallic colored. My joint gets a little stuck, but again, it still covers all the basic needs in my cable. As far as the lower torso goes, you can actually twist left and right and tuck in even further to give it even more ab crunch. As you can see here at this point, we have serious ab crunch to the point where Cable can pretty much, if he wants, probably try to touch his toes, which would be pretty dope. So lift back up, and sometimes it'll get caught in there. Just lift up ever so gently and you'll be fine. I think I popped my torso out for a second. The pouches actually move around, which will give you movement when you want to move around and do crazy ab-like moves or touch your toes, like I stated before, or shoot your weapons, because you can actually swap out these pouches on the side. I'm actually going to take them off so you can see here that they're removable. In taking your pouches off, you can part swap here for holsters for guns, but I'm just going to leave that alone. As far as our leg articulation goes, it's like down here, we have our T-joint, which allows us to rotate out. Now, on its own, we're only going to get about this far, right? We have that single cut joint that cuts really deep. We have a boot that actually wiggles around to mimic a lot of movement. And we have crazy ankle articulation, which means on pretty much any surface, Cable's feet will hit flat on the floor. So that's not really a problem in terms of ankle articulation, right? Now, with our T-joint here, going outward is a little different because you rotate on this joint. Now, I'm going to pop it out. This is me popping it out, y'all, not any other thing. So see how I pop this joint out? Show you the left leg, because it is going to be able to swivel and mimic your movement going outward. See how instead of me pulling it or going around, I'm allowed to do that. Same thing here, rotate back down. And you twist back down. But you see, depending on how you rotate it, you'll get a particular movement, right? See, I can go forward, rotate out, rotate through. It's all gonna be, that's the thing about Revo, man. It's really not for everyone who's gonna be patient enough to mess around with their posing. But if you are patient enough, I'm telling you, man, the poses you can get with this guy will very much pay off. Like, let me see if I can get some. I'm gonna pop this up and around. Oop, see, I took it apart. So let me try to pop this guy up and around. I really want to get a good joint to like show you guys, right? And this is the ball joint I was talking about. That's a T-joint. You have to be careful with, actually, you know what? Let's take this time to talk about this. Because this T-joint, right? This is, I know this messes up a lot of people down here in this lower body. You see how this allows you to wiggle around, up and down, back and forth? The thing about this is not going to be for everyone, because this type of joint right here, which was a major issue on Venom, has actually helped a lot of other figures like Wolverine, All Might, and now Cable. It was fixed a little better, but here's the problem. Depending on how you rotate this guy, like right here, you're gonna pop out that torso, see? So what I suggest you do is you lean it back, line it up, snap it in, tuck the torso in, as you see that I'm doing right here, and then from there, work around. Taking your figure apart is not something to be shameful. It's actually what a ton of customizers do, and actually what a ton of people do when they're starting out learning their figures. So Cable, just want to make sure the poses look right. He can still take a martial arts stance, feet flat, looking good, right? As you can see right here. And I'm sorry I took the time to show you guys this, but this is something I very much enjoy. And it's not that I am vouching for Kyoto. I'm just saying that it is for a particular type of collector. And it may not be user-friendly for the type of people who want this. So I want to make sure I show it in its best presentation. As you can see, Cable still takes a proper stance. All those joints that people say are ugly are not even seen here. You see what I'm saying? All because he's posed up very nicely. Now that we've talked about the posing, let's take the time to actually sit down and talk about the accessories it comes with, because this is also where it gets pretty cool. So let's jump into that. I decided to leave Cable as is because we're gonna work through and show more posing. Now, Cable actually comes with some nice stuff. You saw those pouches from earlier that connect at the side. First things first, let's talk about the connectors. So you'll actually get a connector here, which will attach to the side. And you'll get two of these because plugging them in means you get now a sidearm. You'll also get, basically for dual wielding or whatever it is you want to go about it. These will plug in right here at your side. There we go. You line it up with the placeholder. And because of how, and that's why I kind of want to leave him posed like this. You see how he's posed up like this and is hitting the pouch? You can actually rotate this forward and now it won't get in your way. These are the things I was talking about. Like, you take the time and the effort to help with the posing, and it helps you in little ways. So now they're face forward just a little bit right ahead of those pouches. And now it hinders none of your posing from previously stated, right? Next up in our accessories, because I want to leave these on to show the cool stuff, right? You will get an alternate head. The alternate head is pretty cool because, you know, just like the previous one, I'm going to show you here that you can actually move the eyeball around by using this to move it around. I'm going to try to shift it over to the side. And now it looks like cable is looking off to the side. Let's see if I can get some good light on that to show you. Yep, there we go. As you saw here with the smaller piece, you will also get a large one with this one. I took it out so I can show you guys. So just plugs right in and you will get the large telekinetic flare. These are interchangeable with either head, so it's not really a problem. Next up, you are going to get, you already see one fist here. So here's the other fist, your techno-organic fist. Then you will get a holster for your gun hands. Now I'm going to take it off the gun. You'll get 2 gun hands. So these will hold either your large pistols or your cannons. So these will work either way. Now with these hands, I've tried working them with different weapons. It does not work with every weapon, unfortunately. I tried some of the Mezco cable weapons, some Marvel Legends weapons. Because they are glued from the thumb to the middle finger, you can't get every weapon in there. So unfortunately, it won't work for your Mezco weapons, right? But if you take one of Cable's actual Revo weapons, like this large cannon here, slides right in with no problem. I kind of wish that, and one of my gripes is I do wish that it was an open hand so we could fit other weapons in there. It would be really cool, because when I take this Mezco weapon, and because I can't get to a trigger finger, but I can put it in this one, the handle allows it to slide right in. See what I mean? You may want to heat it up if you feel like it's gonna wiggle out and break, but I just kind of rip mine out. I know I shouldn't do that, but I'm on camera now, so really don't have the time. One more thing, for Scimitar, the PX1 from Mezco don't work, but Mythic Legion spears do work. There's going to be a little tab, so just be careful. But if you heat it up and make it soft on the hand, you'll be able to slide the spear through the hand and you'll be okay. Next up, you'll get 2 open action hands. You'll see one right here. Here's the other one for the normal hand. This is a more clawed-like open hand, while this one is a actual open action hand. So please be aware of that. So now we have Cable here, looking pretty cool. I want to talk about the guns. So you'll actually get 2 pegs. One I already have stuck to a gun, and another one here. And these will peg into the back of your Cable to allow it to look like you are storing it on Cable's back. This may not be for everyone, but me personally, I don't mind this. This is the Revo way. This is the way. And you just plug right in. And because they use these type of joints, they just, 9 times out of 10, they work out just fine. Let's see if I can get a nice one. Yeah, there we go. So yeah. As you can see here, I have weapons stored on back. I'll do the combination of the gun in a second. I'm gonna show you guys weapons stored on the back with no problem, right? If you wanna know whether or not he can hold up the weight, let's actually get him to stand up and then we'll see. I personally think he can, but let's test it all out. That's what doing a review is for. Posed up, gun's looking good. Let's make sure he's looking good. So Cable can indeed stand. Let's actually back you up so you can see everything. Yep, Cable stands. So yeah, holding up the weight of his own weapons shouldn't be an issue either. Now we're going to test the weapons combination. So let's do that. The weapon combination is a little tricky. I have not memorized it yet, but I'm gonna try to run through it with you guys. So sorry for this extra long review. Actually, let me get a piece right here. Just rip it all out. So this is one of the weapons here. And actually I have the handle from this gun on the other gun, which is pretty, actually, let's take this out first. And I wanna show you guys. What's really cool about this is that with the Revoltech stuff, I have the handle from the other gun actually on a different gun because you can combine those. Now, one problem, yep, there it is. I was talking to Just about this too. And Just Hernandez, for those that don't know, when you use this gun a lot, and I mean, I've used it a lot right now, the handle gets really loose and doesn't fit really well. I recommend some clear nail polish. I haven't done it yet, but that's what I'm actually going to use. But I realize it is a cause of this area right here having some breakage. And I'm not sure if it's because it's misaligned or because, you know, it's kind of not together all the way. But it seems like this one was forged a little too slim for this weapon to hang on to, which is a bit of a bummer because I actually like this weapon, but it does fit into the other parts very easily. So let's talk about that right now. So here's our gun with the misaligned handle, which you can't combine, but you do take these parts, you take these weapons apart, you can create a much larger combined weapon, which is what Cable can do. He uses his telekinetic powers to create bigger, larger guns. So I'm going to take off one piece here, take off these side pieces. There we go, wiggle out, baby. And we have our 5 pieces from here. Then we have our larger gun, which can turn into a much wider gun in terms of transformation. So you pull this out, you stick this on front, and now you have a sniper rifle. This is pretty cool. I like this. This is a very simple transformation. Oop, I forgot to, there we go. A very simple transformation for those of you who like this kind of stuff. I like this. This is one you can get variety out of. You cannot remove the magazine, unfortunately. So now what we're going to do is, because I don't want to take up too much time, I'm actually going to show you on the instructions that you can combine it to a much larger weapon. I'm going to try to do it with you guys, but yeah, I'm not that good at it. So I'm going to read it and work through it because I haven't memorized it myself yet. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. So yeah, first off, I already transformed this into the larger weapon, which is fine. So then you remove this part and you're going to take this piece here, put it down here. You're going to take this piece and this piece here, plug these two together, and then plug them here. Oh, wait, that's actually pretty cool. Even before you finish this combination, this is a pretty cool combination already. So this, you can actually make it as is, or you can add on even further to make it bigger and bulkier and better. And to do that, what you do is, I'm going to put this down 1 second. You take this part here and you line up these 2 tabs with this piece here. And did I do that right? Wait, did I? Oh, there we go. You're going to line, sorry, you're going to line this top one, this one right here, along this port. There we go. And this is going to be tabbed up here. Oop, dropped it. That sucks. Wait, did I do? I did something wrong. Hold on. I did something wrong, y'all. So bear with me. There we go. So I misaligned it. You have to line it up here with this port. Sorry about that, y'all. And you're going to do the same on this side. And now we have Cable's BGF once I plug this handle in. If you don't know what BGF stands for, it's a Doom reference, but yeah. So this is Cable's large gun. Whether or not he can hold it, let's test that. I personally think he can hold it because I've done it in photos already, but I may have also worn out my joints. So let's test that realm right now. Where is my other gun holding hand? There we go. This has actually been pretty fun to do on screen. Should probably do this a little bit more when I'm in good moods. This is pretty. There we go. So we're going to place the handle in the right hand. Now, this arm I've used a lot, right? So let's just test it out, see if you can hold it with one arm. Holding it up like a champ with one arm, no problem, and can hold the weight. See, my hands are here. Now, as far as dual wielding goes, because we have that extra handle, let's rotate our arm out. Let's get that extended hand there. Nice. So yeah, it looks a little awkward here, but I'm pretty sure I'm just kind of being a little lazy and rushing it. But yeah, it does hold. this is a nice piece. I don't see how you wouldn't want this if you are a guy who really likes to pose your toys. Right? Now, I think I've covered just about everything with this cable except for size comparisons. So let's take the time to set up and I'll get to that right with you. See you guys in a sec. All right, on to the size comparison, which is like the end of the video. So let's get to it. First things first, I know you see Mafek's Deadpool here in the background. So let's compare him since he's already there. I really do love the entire dynamic of Cable and Deadpool. And I think that the Mafek's Deadpool complements this guy pretty well. As you can see here, I think size-wise, I think they work out really, really well. So that's the first size comparison that we have here. Let's put you back here before you shoot yourself off into space. And I think next up, we can compare a bunch of cables across the line so you guys can see how we get different iterations of cable here. I don't think I have my 90s cable from Marvel Legends, but I do have the Avengers version where he was trying to defeat the Avengers. So here we have with a really big Marvel Legends version, as you can see there. We have our Fox Cable, who may not be able to stand properly right now due to his legs being, you know, wonky. And then here we have the Mezco cable, and I chose the PX one because it was the closest similar costume. And as you can see, this guy is going to look tiny compared to the rest of them. So now you have your different iterations of cable here, seeing which ones you enjoy, choosing whichever one you like. It's really on you. You go on 1, you go on 4, you go on 2, doesn't matter. This is just so you can see. Let's move these guys out of the way. Now we're just gonna, what can we do? Oh, let's compare a bunch of X-Men stuff. So here we have a Mafek's Cyclops. Cyclops being shorter than the sun, I don't really mind. But this one might be a little crazy. But again, like between Cyclops and Cable that have been drawn a lot of different ways, that can go either way. Here we are with a Mafek's Wolverine. Then we're going to do a Marvel Legends Wolverine. And then a Marvel Legends Cyclops. Because you can actually mix this version of Cable with anyone because he's a time traveler. So here we are. Then we have a Marvel Legends Cyclops. And as you can see here, Cable is going to be the biggest guy here. How well he fits in with the others really depends on you. I think personally, he actually works really well with all of them. Probably the Marvel Legends Wolverine is going to be the shortest, which is probably the most accurate too. So yeah, let's take these guys away. Let us compare some more stuff by choosing a Marvel Legends Deadpool. And I believe this one is, I don't know if this is the vintage one or close to the vintage one. I can't remember. But this guy also looks really good with Cable. Then we have Bishop. I chose Bishop because, you know, 2 time travelers and then X-Men the animated series. This may help you out. As you can see here, my Bishop's a little wonky, but he's very close in height to Cable, which is pretty cool. Then I chose Nimrod because Nimrod's pretty cool, and I just want to put him in there. Next up, we're going to mix up some other stuff. So here we are with a G.I. Joe Storm Shadow, who's been modified, so he's a little bit taller. We have an SH Figure Arts Kamen Rider Kuga, who is much shorter. We have a Mythic Legions Vampire Knight with a custom head. And we have a 1000 Toys Don, Les Millions. Right? Again, Cable's pretty much the tallest guy here with the exception of Nimrod. So yeah. Oh, let's actually throw in Storm Collectible Skeleton, who's only a guy taller than Cable. That's why he's looking at him sideways. And then last but not least, another Mezco, and this Mezco Me, which I'm testing out some new clothing, so don't judge me, as I look very shafty. And I am smaller than Cable as well, even if I put him in front of it. But just to show you side by side, let's remove these two, and boom. So yeah, it's a little different here, but overall, I think this Cable is very enjoyable despite its flaws. But it's very fun to play with a Revoltech, like over and over and over, to really like enjoy yourself. If you're not a guy that's gonna sit down and play with this toy, like really sit down and play with it, this may not be for you. But if you like to pose, play, display, and all that other good jazz, or a combination of them, or mostly just pose, this may just be for you. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys found it informative. I hope you stuck through this entirely too long of a video, so I apologize in advance. Thank you guys for always watching. I appreciate it. Please be good, do good, drink your water. Later.